Hello and welcome back to Here We Tow. This week we're tow car testing again, and this is the last in our 29 series of tests. So for the past week we have been testing out the Nissan Navara Tekna. It's their top of the range. It has a 2.3 litre engine and it's going to deliver 190 brake horsepower. This one has a manual gearbox, it's 6-speed. Overall, how have we got on with it? Well, let's go through some facts and figures for the Nissan. Length 5.33 metres long, curb weight a fairly low 1,991 kilos, but don't let that put you off because this will tow up to 3.5 tonnes and it'll also carry just over a tonne in its actual vehicle payload. Fuel consumption, I have been impressed. I have averaged around 40 miles to the gallon while driving this Navara. The question is though that we all want to know is how much? How much? I again am incredibly impressed. This vehicle, which just has 3 added options, is just over £30,000. That is pretty competitive in the market that it's competing against. So we've gone through the payload, we've gone through the size of it. What about that all-important suspension? Because all the pickups we've used have so far had leaf spring suspension, and that's given a bit of bounce. This one has coil springs and link suspension. What does that mean? It means it's more like your family car, and I must say this really does drive like an SUV. The ride, the handling, the manoeuvrability, this is more like any family car. What are we also getting for the money? We're getting lots of equipment, and we're also getting a 5-year warranty, which is really important. So equipment, what are we getting? We're getting this one, we've got an additional option of metallic paint, but apart from that, we've got these fantastic alloy wheels. I love the black and the silver. We also get heated and electric wing mirrors. We're getting side sills. We've got the remote keyless entry. And back here, we've got a huge capacity in the boot. For me personally, I'd be wanting to put a boot liner cover over here so it's got a full back on it, because I'd want to use that as a proper boot for storage and also for putting fudge in, because he's not going to get in those back seats. Further round at the back, we see here we've got a tow bar. That's an optional extra. It's about £450 to have that fitted. At the back, we've got the flip down boot of the Nissan. Now this back shelf, it is quite heavy. I found I've had to be careful when I've opened it because it comes down with quite a bit of weight. For many people that won't be a problem. We've got the boot liner as standard. As we can see, some water has collected, which is quite normal, but when you drive off, that's going to come out. Closing it, again it's fairly heavy. You can see here we've got our reversing camera. It's a very good camera. You get a good view down here for when you're reversing back with a caravan or trailer. Also on this Navara, which I really like, are the 360-degree cameras, and we'll look at that when we drive. But basically it gives a fantastic view all the way around the vehicle for when you're in a confined space such as a car park. Other than that, that pretty much sums up the exterior of the Navara. So we've covered the 5-year warranty, we've covered the engine, we've covered the miles per gallon that I've got, and all the facts and figures, and we've covered the price. Let's have a look inside the cab and see what we make of it in there. The Navara has keyless entry, and once inside we see it's got full leather. The surfaces on the dashboard are fairly plasticky, but it is a commercial vehicle. That being said, it feels good quality. We've got our steering wheel with lots of controls on there, and when I've been using it, I find those really easy to use. The heated seats are controlled here in the centre console, and then we see our 6-speed manual gearbox. You can get this in automatic, and to be fair, that's probably the option I'd like because I do love an automatic. The centre controls are really easy to use. That's where we're going to find the satellite navigation, and then we've also got the heating as well for the vehicle. This car is 4x4, and where it looks slightly dated is the controls for the 4x4 are actually under all of these other more modern controls. And for me, if I was actually driving it and I had to then reach down to swap into a 4x4 mode, for me, I would find that a little bit clunky reaching down there. But that's the only criticism I can make of the whole layout. I love the dashboard. This is excellent because not only have you got the dials, you've also got a digital reading in the centre, and that's given me all the readings I've needed, such as my fuel consumption, my speed limit, and it also brings the satellite navigation system there. And that's been really handy because, again, when I drive, we'll be able to have a closer look at the satellite navigation, but I found the screen is quite busy. So when it comes up in the centre where I can just look straight down, it's been absolutely brilliant to use. So a fantastic satellite navigation system. Also on that satellite navigation system, we've got our reversing camera. And as I said, it's a 360-degree view. And again, I found that excellent. I've never used one of those before, so I've been really impressed with that. So that's the front of the cab. If we have a look back here, this is where we've got the seats for a further 3 people. And that'll easily take 3 adults. There's loads of leg room there. Again, it's leather, so it's a really good option for a family. If you're a family of up to 5 people, this seat as well, it does flip up and there's a little bit of storage there. Other than that, I don't know what more to say really. I'm really pleased with the Navara. For 30,000, I'm very impressed. What we're going to do now is we're going to head out on the road because we want to know how does it drive. So let's head over to Jules and he's going to take us for our first test drive, and then I'll be taking it for a tow. So Jules, it's over to you.
Well, thanks for that, Karina. So it's over to me. It's test drive time. So I'm trying it now just as you would every day. So a normal commuter vehicle, not towing, just as it was. So what have I used? I've used a whole host of roads. I've used A roads, B roads, country lanes, dual carriageways as I'm on now, and motorways. So how have I found it? Well, I'll come to that very shortly. Just from the outside, so looking at the vehicle itself, the aesthetics, this is a very personal thing. It depends if you like the look of it or you don't. I personally do. I like the lines, and it's just a good looking pickup all round, I think. Looking at the wing mirrors give good visibility. They're not as big as some of the other pickups that I've tried, but they do give good visibility all round down the sides of the vehicle, so I'm really pleased with that. The lights at the front, they've got bi-xenon lights, so they're fantastic. They've got a really good throw, a really good reach in the dark, and visibility is very good. In general, visibility all around the vehicle is good also. Obviously, as you can see here, through the A pillar, the B pillar, 360 all the way around, all the way back to that glass at the back in the rear view over the pickup bed. It's very, very good. Gives a nice clear line of sight. So nice high up position again, sat in the pickup, so you've got a good commanding view of everything around you, the road ahead and also down the sides to behind you. So yeah, good comfy seats, nice lumbar support, nice adjustments on the seats. So they've got electric seats, so obviously you can alter the lumbar, you can alter the height, you can alter the length as you would in any normal vehicle. So I'm really pleased with that. So the ride itself is very, very good. There's no real wallowness. It just holds the road lovely. Even when there's nothing in the back, there's no bounce to the vehicle. It feels planted, it feels sturdy, and there's very little delay in the steering from the steering column itself. There's no play in that whatsoever, so it is very responsive in that respect, so I'm really pleased. The gearbox itself, this is a manual box. I would prefer an automatic, I think now, just because of the amount of time that I've had with an auto box, and because they're a high ratio gear, being a pickup, it just makes it easier getting through the lower end rather than setting off in second, because there is so much torque. Because when it is weighted in the back, obviously, you need that extra torque to be able to set off. So yeah, the gearbox, it's nice and clean. It's not clunky whatsoever. The gear lever for me is a little bit long, so there is a bit of reach backwards and forwards. But if you had a stumpy gear stick, you'd be crouched over. And the basic layout of the vehicle, it makes it quite sort of hard to have that. So it works, and it works really well. The controls themselves, they're all within reach, they're all easy to use, easy to operate. The centre console is a little bit cluttered. When I say that, everything's there, it's just a case of I'm not familiar with it as to where it is to intuitively go to it to be able to set it up as I would like it right from the get-go. But at the end of the day, I've got a good console view here, so when the sat-nav's set up and the speedometer in the middle, it's all there, everything you need, time with the temperature, the speed and everything else. All the controls on the steering wheel, they're fantastic. They're all well within reach, easy to use, and so it really negates the centre console being as busy as it is. What I would like to point out is it does have an auto stop feature, obviously to comply. I think that's part of the Eco 6, so it has an auto shut off when you're sat. I haven't found a way of turning that off, so if that's something that bugs you when you're sat at traffic lights, then it's something to be aware of. From me, it's a fantastic vehicle. I would highly recommend giving it a try. One of the models, obviously this is the Tekna, but I would highly recommend going. If you're in the market for a vehicle that's going to do everything all around, so an MPV, stroke utility vehicle, stroke tow vehicle, stroke everyday car, then I would highly recommend having a look at these and adding it to your shopping list. Obviously, all the information that we're providing is there, so hopefully it'll give you an insight should you want to go and have a look. I'll put a link in the description below to the website if you want to see any more technical data or details, but from me, what a fantastic ride. It feels like a car. It's quite hard to actually think that I'm actually in a pickup at the moment, so it's done a really good job. It's a good all-rounder is this one, so I'm really pleased. So hopefully you found that useful, and now I will hand you back to Karina to do a little bit of towing. So thanks for watching, and catch you in a bit.
Thanks, Jules. So we're about to tow, and there's one small problem. We don't have an Alco tow ball fitted to the Navara. So what we're going to do to combat that problem is we're going to tow this box trailer. It's a twin axle trailer, and what this will also show is how well it tows something slightly lighter, because normally we tow our large caravan, and not everyone has a large caravan, and they do tow quite differently to something smaller and more compact. So without further ado, let's hitch up and head off and just see how this Navara does tow. See you on the road. So that's it, we're hitched up and we're on the road. And as I've said, we're having to tow a trailer because one, the tow ball's not an Alco, and two, not everybody has a huge caravan. Some people want to know what's it like to tow with a smaller caravan, because the heavier it is, often the more stable it can be, especially with a pickup truck. So we're on the road and we are towing. Before I go into the towing, I will say I've been really impressed with the Navara. I've absolutely loved it, and I think I've probably given that away. So what do I like about it? The 2.3 litre engine is very good. Yes, it's not going to set your pants on fire, but it's got enough poke when you need it. The driving position, for me, being smaller, the electric chair, I can manoeuvre it so I can have a great view out, and as a smaller person, that's excellent. The pedals are just at the right height for me, and the steering wheel is adjustable, so the ride height is excellent. The suspension, because it is that coil sprung suspension like a car, it handles amazingly. It does not feel like a commercial vehicle at all, and that's a big selling point if you want something in between the pickup and the SUV. The equipment on the Navara is excellent for the money. For 30,000, it's got everything I'm going to want, and I must say it all works extremely well. The heated seats are fantastic, the heating system, the control panel, that's the touchscreen control panel, that works very well. It's very clear and it's easy to use. The only issue I've had with it, and this is maybe me, maybe I haven't worked it out properly, or maybe it's just me, when I've used the satellite navigation, I find the sat nav really busy. There's a lot going on, and even when I've zoomed in, it's a very busy satellite navigation system. But as I say, maybe I've just not got that sussed properly. I don't know. What I do like though is even when I can't quite see what's going on there, the direction does come up on the display in front of me, so I can look there to see where my next turn is. So what about towing? Well, I must say it's absolutely fantastic. Even with this is a twin axle trailer I've got on the back. I can't feel the trailer on the back, I'll be totally honest, and it's not often I say that you can't feel something on the back, but I definitely can't feel anything on the back. There's no bounce to it, it's steady, it's sure-footed, and I can't really say any more than that. Unlike some of the others where we've had a little bit of bounce or it's been maybe a little underpowered, the Navara is absolutely delivering. It's not got the pull of that Amarok. That Amarok, for the engine in that, was unbelievable, but that was £16,000 more than this car. But this is smooth. The suspension, I think, is what makes this, to be absolutely honest. It feels like I'm just towing with a normal car. I'm not bouncing around like a kangaroo. It pulls effortlessly, and I'm really enjoying towing with it, to be absolutely honest. I'm currently just on a country lane, and yeah, brilliant. So all in all, as Jules has said how he's found it, I've said how I've found it. So at £30,000, yeah, absolutely would not hesitate to recommend the Navara if you are considering a pickup truck as your next vehicle. So I think what we'll do is we'll head back to the site and we'll have a quick conclusion about how we've got on with the Navara. But yeah, I'm still smiling. I'll see you back at the site.
So there we have it, that's the Nissan Navara Tekna. We've had a look round it, we've driven it, we've towed with it, we've had it for a week. So what do we really think to it? For £30,000 with this level of equipment, the drive, the towing capability, this is my pick of the pickups for 2019. I have loved driving this. It's just like a car. The miles to the gallon is massive. It's a fantastic economical vehicle. So I must say it is an absolute big thumbs up for Nissan. And had we bought this over our SsangYong, I would not have been disappointed. So as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.